right, ladies and gentlemen, the top right-hand corner of the map from karont3 Esports. Here's the green player. Guys, give it up for Lucifron. He's going to be trying to give it, or bring it back, excuse me. He definitely doesn't want to give it back. Does not want to give any sort of anything to this guy in the bottom right-hand corner. The red Zerg player tearing it up from Team Liquid. It is the little one, TLO.
All right, the little one indeed. We'll see what he's going to be up to here in just a second. The map, as we mentioned before, is Entombed Valley. And while you could do some sort of proxy shenanigans here, I would expect that Lucifron's going to go after his normal, tried-and-true strategy. Let's get some Hellions on the map. Let's try to poke in and do some damage, because that's what he's known for, and that's what he excels at.
Yeah. And this is not a bad map for it at all. It's not one of the best maps in the earlier stages of the game. You know, it's not too hard to defend. But TLO has had some very unconventional play styles in the past and present.
Sure.
And these are things that, you know, with Slate, they are not always the most efficient, Kevin. And if you have like a minute or two of inefficiency versus Lucifron, things can get really out of control really fast.
Absolutely. And we'll see here what TLO's strategy is going to be. I mean, no surprise, of course, starting with a 15 hatch. And we'll see what he tries to get away with afterwards. But, you know, are we going to see that quick layer tech that sometimes does actually disrupt Lucifron quite efficiently? Mutalisk plays something along those lines, because if you allow Lucifron to establish a ground game, if you allow him to disrupt your economy the way he likes to, then he just kind of starves you out and slowly kills you from there on out.
Yeah, it's a great word to describe Lucifron, disruption. You know, it's whatever you want to do, I'm just going to try to prevent you from doing it. It doesn't really matter what it is. You could want to lose the game, and I'm still going to make it difficult for you.
Yes, I will prevent you from losing the game.
I don't know what you're up to, but it seems sneaky to make it difficult.
Well, of course, 1-Rex gasless fast expand for Lucifron. No surprise at all. Likely to see his gas popping up here sometime soon. The question will be, does he go with the 1 gas variety and go for those reactor Hellions quick with their command center, or does he decide to go for the double gas and just gun it straight for Hellion and Banshee?
Kevin, he's just going to drop a 3rd CC here. No gas, no barracks.
Oh, really?
That would be nuts.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, bold prediction here from Andrew.
Actually, he already has a barracks, doesn't he?
Yes,
yeah, I was actually thinking more barracks. But there's the gas, and it's only going to be 1. So, Hellion into many different things are possible. I do really like combat shields builds, though. I haven't seen them in forever. And I don't expect to see it here. It's
important to note that TLO is not going for a gasless build. We've seen, you know, obviously a lot of Korean players go after this, hit with some good mid-game aggression, 630 third base kind of a thing. That's, you know, obviously what, you know, is what's been popular lately, but will TLO go down that route, or does he have something a little more crafty up his sleeve? He did build 2 queens, though. It wasn't like the 1 queen and then Roach Ling all in or something.
Crazy all in out of him right now, but he is going to be starting up the 3rd queen, creep tumor on the low ground, all pretty standard stuff here out of TLO. Nothing too crazy surprising. And as you said, that gas will be keeping an eye to see what he decides to do with it. Now, on Lucifron's side of the map, has opted to go for 2 barracks here, and is going for a reactor, but no factory.
Ah, Lucifron. I'm sad. Because every time, maybe it's just more my bias, because whenever I see Lucifron play, I want him to go for Hellions.
I really thought you were going to stop with the first part of that sentence, Kev.
Well, you know. No, so Lucifron is obviously a very good biomech player, excels in it as a matter of fact, and so he is going after the earlier add-on, getting his Marine count very high to begin this game, and I wonder what he's going to transition to.
Hey, play it nice and safe versus TLO, because Lucifron, let's be honest, the favorite player in this scenario, and TLO, we also know, does have a little bit of issue when it comes to nerfs, more at live events than, I think, going up against a big-name player, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's just from hearing what he said especially like I know he mentioned something at a live event. It was a conversation with Nerchio that he had on stage, but
did you just see what TLO did?
No, I missed it.
Okay,
what happened? What happened?
So we're gonna get a big Baneling all in here. Okay, so he actually saw the SCV with this Overlord and sent out. It happened to be 2 drones there, but is he gonna expand out of this? If he ends up expanding out of this, I'm gonna be sad. But yeah, okay, he's not doing it. He saw that go by, and he immediately sent out a drone. It had, like, he accidentally clicked 2, but he sent a drone as if it was going over towards the 3rd. And as soon as that SCV died, he sent send it right back.
Yeah. This is what?
Yeah.
So now he's like, if Lucifron were to come and scout that third, exactly. So Lucifron comes, he scouts that third just to make sure that TLO wasn't actually going for a big trick there. And he'll be like, you were going for a big trick. I knew it. I knew it. You have no third base. You're all hitting me. But TLO's actually taking a third at his fourth.
Okay, well, TLO is up to his very telltale shenanigans here. And Lucifron, pretty good micro so far. He's actually dealt with a good number of these Zerglings. Double-click a freaking Zergling. There we go. And he is going to be able to kill a decent number of these, actually. In fact, all of them.
Kevin, you get so into the game, you're like gesturing with your hands, you forget you can hold control. Baneling's inbound right now to Lucifron's base, folks. He's going to have to make it through this supply depot wall. Before he can hit the bunker, though, does manage to take it out. But now there's a ton of Marines and no answer to him at all. TLO's going to have to back out of this one for sure.
Yeah, but he kills 0 economy with that.
But wait.
And he may snag a couple more units here. Let's see as the Banelings are starting to roll forward a little bit more. But TLO has not killed enough stuff here. There's still more Hellions off to the side. Lucifron going for this incredibly heavy Marine Hellion build, and he has more than enough units to deal with this huge push.
Oh, this is a little interesting. So if Lucifron were to scout that third base, he could think he's incredibly far ahead. I think I see now what TLO is thinking with this fourth. Because if we see these Hellions come down at some point in the near future, now that this attack has failed and TLO is going to try to transition, Lucifron could feel incredibly ahead and not feel the need to pressure. He'll be like, oh, you're still on 2 bases.
Lucifron is going for that third already, though, himself. Let's take a look at his vision. Yeah, he's seen basically nothing this game. This was his initial scout a little bit earlier on. The second SCV got to about here before it ended up dying, and that was it. That's all he's seen so far, so he doesn't have a really good idea of what his opponent's up to.
But TLO is going to leave bands of Zerglings out in the middle of the map. A lot of them going to be killed right now by these Hellions. Is going to have to fall back just for the moment. Also, is that an Overlord or a Zergling currently camping out at that third base?
2 Zerglings.
Couple Zerglings. Nice. Lucifron, though, killing the rocks. He'll be moving into that momentarily.
All right, well, TLO's starting to connect these bases up now. Of course, going to keep lots of creep because it's past the time now when that would have been fake scouted. Because at this point, after if Lucifron had perceived that that was an all-in, then TLO would have put up another base after that in an emergency or something like that. So it's not worth hiding anymore.
And at this point, now the Hellions going to be moved out on the map pretty uncontested here. The Roach Warren isn't completed yet. It is on the way, but 22 Zerglings are going to be on the field the moment here for TLO because he does need some semblance of a defense in order to fend this off.
All right, well, these...
oh, this is great.
This next command center is just about finished up. We can see Lucifron getting 2 more barracks on at the moment, getting his +1 weapons, +1 armor, and everything's really starting to hit for him now. I
like that Lucifron kind of moved out there and then turned back. He even showed a couple of Marines under an Overlord there and then now pulled back with them. And we saw those links made out of TLO that he absolutely didn't need. They would have been drones. There would have been a ton of drones. Lucifron's in a great spot. I mean, that production tab really, I mean, that tells it all.
Yeah, I mean, with the double factories now, too, his siege tank count is going to soar very, very quickly, emphasizing all of those Hellions and Marines at the beginning of the game, of course, left that tech a little bit behind, and he hasn't been able to sneak in and really do much damage with the Hellions yet, but I would assume at some point he would try.
Yeah, you know, you look at the supply and you're like, but TLO's still ahead in the supply. Well, Lucifron just dumped a ton of money into upgrades and structures and things to make units. So in a second here, he's just going to surge ahead. And we could see him as much as like 20 or 30 supply here in a minute. Unless TLO just like goes for tons and tons of roaches. But if he does, 2 factory siege tanks versus lots of roaches, that's me breathing through my teeth in pain.
Well,
that sounds like mouthwash, man.
Yeah.
You'd be very good for a mouthwash commercial.
Why, thank you.
Be like, Listerine, clean your cat's pajamas.
Wow. That's apparently that's my new tagline as a spokesperson. Going with it now. If my career fails, I'm blaming you. So
Kevin,
let's see.
It's just a suggestion. Don't take it.
TLO has essentially gone for round 2 of this, though. This is a huge amount of pressure. You just finished another 5 roaches are going to be joining this here sometime soon. A lot of Baneling speed, 1-1 upgrades all about to hit in the relative near future, and Lucifron loses 4 Hellions in the matter of about 2 seconds.
He does, but, you know, Siege Tech wasn't completed, Kevin, and now it's done. If TLO had gunned it for that, he actually could have hit before Siege Tech was completed. He's waiting on a lot of things, though. 1-1, just completing. Baneling speed and going to complete during this attack. Here we go.
Right, but now this is a little bit of a rough position. If he can force his way up onto the high ground here, he'll be in a little bit better spot. Oh, the Banelings crashing through. They actually end up doing a considerable amount of damage. The economy for Lucifron is quite weakened now. They can't directly assault this quite yet because the Stim Marines, the multiple siege tanks are still too powerful, but he's done his damage.
How did that Baneling die? That Baneling, that was, like people I hear can spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
Like holding in farts or something. I heard that the other day.
Or if you watch Spinal Tap, yeah.
Ah, that's probably where it pulled from, because I heard it from a person. I don't trust people. Roaches are going to be killed off. I was thinking TLO, if he could have preserved them, could have actually been in a really, really not a bad spot.
Oh, man. And actually, we missed just a little bit of it because we were watching the units getting killed at the top, but it looks like TLO just suicided his roaches up to try and pick off 2 tanks because he knew they weren't going anywhere, and he actually didn't get either of them.
So low on hit points. But close but no cigar, as they say, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, and I do recommend you watch Spinal Tap. That's, I don't know about the farting part of it, but people spontaneously combust them.
Really?
So, yes.
I don't know. I'm not much of a person for gore, Kev.
No, it's not
like
gore
that?
at all.
Okay.
No.
Right. I mean, the name of the show, and then
no.
people give me a break here. Like,
no, Spinal Tap is a fake documentary about a ridiculous over-the-top rock band.
Oh.
So, yeah,
okay.
don't worry. It's very funny. Anyway, so Lucifron picks up his units, gets away. At the same time, TLO is expanding to his 4th and 5th base all at once. Trying to stretch out this game for a little while. And it could actually get there because Lucifron was weakened by that, so he's not really in a position to just move out new damage anytime soon. But TLO, of course, had kind of overextended himself with as much damage as he was trying to do, so he double expands out of this. So he may end up stabilizing for a little while here.
Well, I do also like to, I like to call this map Entombed Valley the Turtle Tank. Because, you know, it's the kind of map where turtles live, and they thrive, and they do exceptionally well. You could, maybe, you know, other names would be more appropriate, a terrarium perhaps, but that's not alliterative, so I don't use that.
Huh.
But Terrans, man, you can camp all day on 3 bases and just not take any damage. We're seeing Lucifron do that kind of right now, but looks like he's had enough. He's at 160 supply and is ready to move out as he sees his units.
And actually, I don't know if it prompted him to move necessarily, but he got very valuable information. He went in there with that medevac, saw that this base wasn't quite finished up, and then saw that this base wasn't quite finished up. So he knew his opponent was on 3-base economy, and after a big attack like that, he knows that TLO had really stretched himself thin trying to produce that many units.
That's a fantastic thing to point out, and the truth is, Kevin, that it's also completely right. Lucifron has the potential to do a ton of damage here. We're seeing a huge quantity of TLO Zerglings being taken out. He is doing a beautiful flank from the back, though, and the Roaches are going to take out tons of these tanks, but does he have enough left to deal with the Marines?
Yeah, the Marines are already wrecking 2 bases worth of economy. A drop over here on the left-hand side, too. 1 hatchery falls. The second one's going to fall here in just a bit. Even without those 3-3 upgrades, of course, those Marines are so powerful with incredibly high DPS. So Lucifron picks up. He's done his damage. He knows that he's limited his opponent's economy. What else is... I thought I saw some more green dots around. It looks like he tried maybe to drop off here to the right-hand side. In fact, he did. He ended up killing an assimilator, and in total has killed actually just 10 workers.
Well, overall, though, he did the damage that he needed to do, as you said. I mean, cleaning up that 4th, cleaning up this 5th. Now there is a 6th. We're seeing this out of TLO, you know, but he lost a lot of drones, too. And his supply's down at just 110 right now.
Yep. Another drop moves in, kills the Queen immediately. The rest of the drones being slaughtered one by one as they try and retreat. Finally, a couple of Banelings making their way in. But Lucifron's just continuing to do damage. Looks like he was paying attention to a second drop there for a second and lost some units of Banelings. Oh, hope he doesn't lose this one, too. Oh, he does. Okay.
That was pretty vicious.
Yeah. But TLO, that alone is not going to be enough.
Not that Marine alone either. That didn't work. So tanks, Marines getting ready to move out right now for Lucifron. He's got quite a large quantity, 185 supply to just 100 for TLO. And I think this may be the death push, Kev. There's no gas left, no additional Banelings. I mean, you may be able to trade with this army cost inefficiently if you like. Well, you could kill it right now, actually. If he can hit. No, Zelnaga Tower, he got possession of it. Here we go. Banelings coming in. This is the last hope for TLO.
All right. Well, TLO crashes through with Banelings, but most of those disappear. Great splitting job there by Lucifron.
It was.
And as soon as that happens, TLO calls GG. 2-3 now still in favor of Liquid, but karont3 starting to make a go of it.
Yeah, finally, Lucifron is the one who's able to put some coins in TLO's eyes and ship them off and say next.
Yeah.
And we're going to see who Liquid does decide to send out. You know, now they're down to maybe those Korean players.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one coming out here. It's actually going to be a TVT, which you know who it is now.
He's okay.
It's Liquid Tasia. All right. Well, Tasha's coming in next, guys. We're going to run to a commercial break. When we get back, it's going to be Abyssal City. Don't go anywhere. Game number 6 coming up after this.